Hindi bukas ang Israel sa anumang negosasyon sa militanteng grupo na Hamas. Ito ang binigyang diin ni Israel Ambassador to the Philippines, Amb Fluss, sa eksklusibong panayam ng SMNI News. Ayon kay Ambassador Fluss, ito ay dahil nasa gitna pa ito ng digmaan at hindi maaaring makipagnegosasyon habang patuloy na may nasasawi sa bansa.
This is not the stage for negotiations. We are now still burying our dead. People are still in hospital being treated. We are in a war. The war was initiated and started by Hamas early Saturday morning in the midst of a Jewish high holiday, Simchat Torah, on the Sabbath, on the Saturday, which is a Jewish holiday. So this is not a time yet to talk about peace and initiatives of peace. And I have to say, when you come and suggest, let's talk about peace, who with? Hamas is a terror organization. Hamas will not, and you've seen the charter, they say there might be a ceasefire with Israel, a temporary ceasefire, but they could never create peaceful relations and recognize the right of Israel to exist.
Ayon pa kay Ambassador Fluss, naghahanda na ang Israel sa pagpasok sa ikalawang yugto ng digmaan kung saan sisiguraduhin ng panig nito na walang infrastruktura ng teroristang grupo na maiiwan sa Gaza. Nilinaw rin ng ambasador na walang tinatarget ang Israel na anumang infrastruktura ng mga sibilyan.
We are now in the final stages of stabilizing in Israel and preparing ourselves for the next stage, which is entering into the second stage of the war, which is basically making sure that there is no more facility of Hamas, terror infrastructure in Gaza, which will be used to attack the state of Israel and Israeli citizens. Bombing from the air is not enough, but let me say a word about the bombing in the air. I saw before, you showed the footage of the buildings that are being bombed in Gaza. These are not just residential buildings. We are indiscriminately, we're just bombing and that's it. No, we're not targeting civilians. We are targeting specific buildings, and I showed it to the president. Each building that was bombed has an ID, we know what's inside them. And all the buildings that were bombed were all Hamas infrastructure, Hamas facilities. Unfortunately, the Hamas has facilities in mosques, and we saw ambulances.
Ibinahagi naman ni Fluss na taong 2005 pa lang nang umalis ang Israel sa Gaza Strip, kung kaya't walang rason ang Hamas na namamahala sa lugar na kalabanin sila. Ibig sabihin, simula 2005 ay independent na ang Gaza Strip mula sa pamamahala ng Israel. Tanging ginagawa na lang ng Israel sa Gaza Strip ay ang tumulong para umunlad ito sa pamamagitan ng pagsusuplay ng tubig at kuryente dahil hindi sapat ang pinagkukunan nila. Nagbibigay rin ng job opportunities ang Israeli government para sa Palestinians kung saan malaya silang nakakalabas-pasok sa Israel at Gaza Strip.
We cannot support the Hamas, but the Hamas took over control in Gaza. They are the government. So as long as the Hamas, it is a very complicated situation because the Hamas, we don't want the people to suffer. We want the Palestinians, and it's important to say, the Palestinians are not the enemy. Our enemy is Hamas. Not all Palestinians are Hamas.
Ang sitwasyon ngayon sa Israel ay nagpakita naman ng pagkakaisa ng mga Israeli upang ipagtanggol ang bansa. Ayon kay Ambassador Fluss, umuwi sa Israel ang mga Israeli mula sa iba't ibang panig ng mundo, kabilang ang mga nasa Pilipinas, para makaisa sa gobyerno at militar nito.
Life continues, and what we're seeing now is very, very strong sense of solidarity. We can see many Israelis who are coming back to Israel in order to join the military, the reservists. So many of them came actually also back from the Philippines. I mean, they've been here. You know, the Philippines is a very attractive destination for Israelis. Beautiful, island country. We know the Philippines, nice people. So many of them have been also here in the Philippines, and they made the way back to Israel out of patriotism an act of solidarity and wanting to join this war to defend Israel and hopefully finally to eradicate the terror infrastructure which is in Gaza, which is attacking us again and again, but for some reason they decided to go in this unprecedented scale of attack, which everybody says, okay, enough is enough. We cannot continue living like this.
Samantala sa naging pagkikita naman ito kay Pangulong Bongbong Marcos ay inihayag ni Ambassador Fluss na nagpahayag ng kanyang simpatsya at pakikiramay ang Pangulo sa Israel at napag-usapan na rin nito ang dalawang OFW na nasawi dahil sa digmaan.
The President was very sympathetic, very warm. He wanted to, I briefed him about the situation, of course what happened in the first few hours, a bit of the background of the conflict. We talked about the chart of the Hamas. And of course, the situation itself, it's not in the same scale, but it reminded us of Marawi. Because also the Philippines is a country which is suffering from terrorism. So I felt his heart. I felt he's with us, and I think he came out also with a very clear statement after that. I explained to him, of course, we discussed what is going to be the next stage. We discussed the OFWs in Israel. I opened with expressing my sympathy and condolences over the news which came the same evening, yesterday evening, or yesterday morning already, of the two OFWs that were identified as dead.
Isa rin aniya sa prioridad ng Israel ay ang pagbibigay ng proteksyon sa overseas Filipino workers sa bansa na karamihan ay inilikas na ngayon sa mga ligtas na lugar kasama ang kanilang mga employer.
Our approach to the Filipino workers, same as other nationals, is exactly as same as to the Israeli citizens. We will not leave you behind, we will take care of you. So we were helped in getting out 20 Filipinos that were in Gaza Strip, in some of those kibbutzim, hiding in the sheltered rooms, what we call mamad. It's a sheltered room which every apartment has today in Israel. We helped evacuate them in the midst of still fighting and shooting. We helped to take them out. There was one OFW that was injured and he was treated in an Israeli hospital. Others were put in hotels together with their employers.
Sa ngayon ay inilagay na ng Department of Foreign Affairs sa Alert Level 3 ang Gaza na nangangahulugang voluntaryo na ang repatriation para sa mga Pilipino. Ayon nga kay DFA Undersecretary Eduardo de Vega, wala pang Pilipino na nag-request ng repatriation mula sa Israel. Pero dumarami ang bilang ng humihiling ng repatriation mula sa Gaza kung saan umabot na nga sa 70 ang nagnanais na makauwi sa bansa.